else could have done that to that girl? Both the belly?
Well, I think possibly, yes, a boating
That's
accident.
not what you told me over the phone.
I was wrong. We'll have to amend our reports.
And you'll stand by that?
Stand by you.
Okay, for me it was a wonderful experience because I got plunged into something about which I knew absolutely nothing. And I learned a great deal. I love the movies. I always loved the movies, but I had no idea of all the technical work that went on. And I found out that what you see on the screen is the tip of the iceberg. And I was just very impressed with the whole technicalities of it. There were funny things that happened. They wanted to have real people film the locals. Well, my husband was a doctor, and he had the part of the coroner in the picture. And Spielberg, they call him to be on the set at 8 o'clock in the morning while everybody hang around while he did this and that. He took 15 takes of everything. And so my husband would get impatient, and he'd be there at 8, and then he'd go off to work. Well, one morning they came screaming in, "Where's Dr. Nevin? Where's Dr. Nevin?" I said, "He's at the hospital." They said, "The hospital? What's he doing at the hospital?" And I said, "You want a real doctor? You got a real doctor." But things like that were funny because they did want authentic people. Well, it's all I did for 6 months, from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. And somebody said, "Well, wasn't it wonderful you did that and were a good little doctor's wife too?" I said, "Guess what went first?" And it was just fun. It was a lot of fun. I think it was very good for the island. There was a lot of fuss about it, but it brought money here when we really needed it, because this is the lowest per capita county in the Commonwealth. And in the winter, this started in March. Well, we started in January, but when they were filming in March and April, that's when at that time there was no money here, no money. So, and everybody liked it. The natives all loved it. I mean, everybody wanted to be in the picture, and they were on the crowd scenes and things like that. And we got to be friends with everybody in the cast.
Did you have any idea that it was going to be this blockbuster hit?
No, because we used to go up to the Harbor View every night. They'd have the rushes, because Spielberg took all these. He was a perfectionist here. He took, and we'd sit there and watch these things, till you're cross-eyed. And then finally, we had the premiere, I guess you'd call it, in Oak Bluffs. And I remember sitting there thinking, this isn't really a very good picture. And the other thing was the shark. The shark. We had 3 sharks. We had a left-hand shark and a right-hand shark, and a shark like this with all his machinery inside of him. Bruce was the name of the shark. And he was always breaking down, the paint was peeling off and all that. It was always getting fixed. Well, I go swimming out deep. I used to go swimming out deep because I like to take off my bathing suit, swim with nothing on, which mortified my children. So the day after seeing this picture, where I'd seen all this mechanical stuff going on for 6 months, and going to see the picture thinking, it really wasn't very good, I went swimming. I ran into the water and I stopped dead, and I couldn't, and I swam up and down the shore, and I've never been out deep since. So in spite of all the fact that I knew it was fake, I know it's had an influence on a lot of people, but it must have subconsciously scared me more than I thought. I don't know, what else can I tell you guys?
Well, you mentioned a lot in the Edith Blake book. All over the place.
I mentioned a lot?
Have you read it, or do you know the book?
Yeah, I know the book. She's one of my good friends.
She mentions you quite a bit. I can't remember at the
Well, I was sort of the liaison between the studio and the island. And it was just a happy happenstance. Another thing I learned about were the Teamsters. And one of the, Joe Alves, I forget what he did. He was one that went around and picked out sites, but he said in so many words, the Teamsters have a stranglehold on the movie magazine, but they didn't want anybody to move. I mean, if they were out at Katama, they had to wait. Joe liked to jog in the car. The Teamster would be right behind him in the car like this. And once we had 2 camera teams, one from New York and one from the studio, and the guy from New York, they rolled out at the Kelly House, and the office was right up across from the Episcopal Church. That wasn't even 2 blocks, a block and a half. And I knew this guy was waiting for this film, the guy from New York. So the film came, and I called one of these Teamsters, these Dorchester rednecks, used to hang out in the kitchen. And they just sat there all day doing nothing but drink coffee. And so I went out and asked Joe or Mike or whoever it was, I said, would you mind taking this film down to, what's his name, at the Kelly house? And he flew into a rage. He said, I'll do it for you just this one time, but don't you ever ask me to do anything like that again. And I was dumbfounded. He scared me. And then the boss of the Teamsters, whoever his name was, came and said, anything you want done, you come to me, but it all had to go through channels. So I learned that lesson. And they all used to take the studio equipment home on weekends and get time and a half and double time on Sunday because they were using studio equipment. I mean, it was something else. And then once, there was one big Hulk who was sitting out in the kitchen, and I went out to the kitchen for something, and he was bent over like this, with the newspaper going like this. And I thought, well, maybe they're not so dumb after all. I think this guy, is doing a crossword puzzle. So, so I looked over his shoulder, and there was a picture of an apartment building on it, and he was filling in the windows. I don't know, what else can I do?
Did you have much interaction with some of the primary actors at all?
Yeah, we got to be friends with everybody, yeah. Scheider, Rick Dreyfuss, made me laugh a couple of years ago. We went to play, we were at a croquet thing down at the Point Way Inn, which is now gone, the croquet court. But Rick, I had to see Rick for a long time. And my husband and I walked down, so we lived up the street. And I said to my husband, oh, there's Rick up on the balcony. And so I said, hi, Rick. And he looked over and he saw my husband, and he absolutely quoted whatever the line was that he had in the movie to it. And this is a whole lot later, but it was cute. It was nice. And then Mike Chapman, who was you don't say cameraman, you say cinematographer, from New York, bought some property here from us. And one of the local girls married one of the guys and went to California. But there's a lot of, it was fine. And we were all in it together. It was like a family. It was a lot of fun. It was really a lot of fun, I thought.
You sound like you're pretty proud to have been a part of it.
Yeah, I am. The only thing I regretted was, now when you look at the things after the movie where they would list everybody who lifts the pencil. They didn't do that then, and I wasn't in that. So that was my only regret. That was a great experience. It really was.
Did you happen to see the mechanical shark?
Did I see it?
While they were filming?
Oh, sure.
And what was your first impression?
When I saw it, I thought there's a model of a shark.
But it looked convincing to you?
I didn't think it did, but obviously it must have had some effect on me. I wouldn't have felt that way about swimming. And when you see the girl being dragged through the water, I mean, there's an underground thing that's pulling her along, and and then there was the two people here, I can't remember their names, who had done a lot of filming of sharks. It was a couple
Ron
from
and Valerie Taylor.
Australia.
Ron and Valerie Taylor.
Yeah, they were very, very interesting. And one of the other things I remember that was funny was, don't they have tides in the Pacific? They must have. But anyhow, Spielberg would be so careful about everything that by the time they started in the harbor, the boats would all be like this. Well, by the time he was ready to film, all the boats would have turned around like this. So that was very disconcerting to them to start with. Funny things like that. Of course, the water was freezing. They did it here in April, and the water is cold here. Cold. It takes a long time to warm up.
What about Robert Shaw? Did you talk to him very
he
much?
was very nice, and his wife, Mary Ure, was here. But she was a very attractive woman. They're both dead now. They kind of kept to themselves more. I mean, we knew them, and they were very nice. I thought Robert Shaw was very nice. Very nice. Carl Gottlieb, who you must know what he did in the film, he's there somewhere. His friend, Rob Reiner, was a friend of his. So we had a cocktail party, and we had all the Jaws people, and my husband, so Carl brought Rob Reiner, and you guys may not even know what I'm talking about. But anyway, my husband took him around and introduced him. He said, "This is Rob Reiner." He said, "You know, he's in One Man's Family." That was a radio show back in the 30s.
One man's family.
That's why I said you guys wouldn't even know what we were talking about.
Yeah.
So that was funny. I thought it was funny.